This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time. A film that is about violence, about chaos and destruction. A film that was misunderstood by millions because Fight Club, at the end of the day, isn't really about the fighting at all. It's about what happens when a man realises that he has been asleep for his entire life and he finally decides to wake up. On the surface, Fight Club looks like a warning about a descent into madness. But underneath that chaos, there are ideas that hit uncomfortably close to home. Because the truth is, most people today are living quite like the narrator. They're comfortable, distracted, and quietly lost. Today we're breaking down some of the inspiring messages hidden inside of Fight Club, breaking down that first and second rule, and actually talking about it and what they might actually mean for your life. Pap pap! The first message is that you are not your job. As I said, you are not your job. You know how much money you've got in the bank. At the start of the film, the narrator has everything that he thought that he might want. A stable job, a fully furnished apartment, a life built from the catalogues. And yet, he can't sleep. Because deep down he knows that none of it is really him. Society will try to sell you an identity, but it's up to you to decide who you actually are. Because the moment you tie your worth to your job, your money, your possessions, you stop being a person and you start being a product. So the thing you could do is try and identify what really resonates in you and start to try and live a little bit closer to that every day. And the next thing is that rock bottom is more often than not true freedom. As Tyler said, it's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. When the narrator loses his apartment, his possessions, his sense of control, that's actually when his life begins. There's no more image to maintain for the narrator, no more expectations for him to meet. The things that you are afraid to lose in your life might be the very things holding you back. Rock bottom isn't the end. It's the point where fear loses its grip on you. Now to be clear, I'm not saying to put yourself at rock bottom, but I'm just saying should you end up there, it's not the end of the world. There's always a path forward. Reason number 3 is that you need to stop trying to numb your life. Before Fight Club, the narrator isn't really living, is he? He's just coping, surviving if you will. Through support groups, empty consumerism, essentially meaningless distractions, he uses anything to avoid feeling empty inside. And then suddenly, he feels something very, very real. Most people aren't in pain because life is difficult. They're in pain because they're avoiding life itself. Numbing yourself, whether it's through screens, comfort or routine, slowly will disconnect you from who you truly are inside. A thing you may have heard of is that the comfort zone is a very dangerous place. It's where growth does not happen. If you want to grow, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. And that growth really does come from confrontation. And confrontation with the uncomfortable. Thing number 4 is that you need to struggle to feel truly alive. The men in Fight Club are not crazy. They are starving. Starving for a challenge. Starving for purpose. Starving for something real. Modern life has removed struggle, and whilst it is a very good thing to remove struggle, because some struggles are truly bad, what modern life hasn't done is it hasn't removed the need for any struggle. Without a challenge, you will not feel alive. You'll just exist. That's why discomfort feels truly meaningful. If you've ever, say, gone to the gym and you've been able to push the weight a bit harder than you usually can, you know, you're there on the bench press, last week you did 50, this week you did 55, and it was a struggle, but afterwards you feel really good. That's why, because you felt a challenge inside of you. You'd struggled to get through it, but you've got through it and you've felt alive. And that is what you need. As I've just said, that is why pushing yourself feels so good. Because deep down, you're built for more than just comfort. And reason number 5 is that you can look to reinvent yourself. Tyler Durden isn't just a character. He's what the narrator could become if he lets go of his fear. He'll have no limits, there'll be no hesitation on things, and he'll need no approval. You're not fixed, you're not stuck either. You're a version of yourself that you've simply practiced. Who you are now is just essentially a character that you play. It's who you think you are, but if you were to look into what truly resonates with you and what makes you feel alive, that is the true character. So if you can start to hone into that, harness that into your everyday life, you'll feel more alive, and that is the version you can be, and that will be the strongest version of you possible. A key disclaimer here though, is that people often actually get wrong about Fight Club, is that it's not telling you to become Tyler Durden, because Tyler is what happens when truth goes too far the other way. If you consider it like a spectrum, we've got the narrator on one side at the beginning of the movie, Tyler on the other, you want to find somewhere roughly in the middle. You don't want to go full chaos mode, you don't want to go full just complacency. And rolling with the punches. Because the real message about it isn't destruction. It's simply being aware. About waking up, taking control back for your life. Build a life that actually feels like yours and not just one that's been put upon you. As we said, Fight Club isn't really about the fighting. It's about waking up in a world designed to keep you asleep. And maybe the real question to ask yourself isn't what would Tyler do? It's who could you become if you stopped holding yourself back? That is the end of our video there. So what do you think? What did you take away from Fight Club the most? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you are new around here. That's all for now, so I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Pop pop!